Hi everybody, it's Linda again, and I have to apologize. The video that I put up yesterday was terrible because I thought I was recording and I actually had it on pause when I was, um, so I had it opposite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this rose again. So here is a copy of the rose if you want to screenshot it. And what you do is you outline everything in pencil and then you turn it over and you rub the pencil all over the area that the rose is on the other side. Then you put it on your paper. So I'm going to be using the Baohong, which is 100% cotton. It's 10 by 12 and it's watercolor paper and it's a block. It's excellent paper. I like it. So what I did was I put the paper on top of the block and then I outlined it and it came out on the block. So this is another time that I'm going to be doing this. I'm also going to be using my 24 pan watercolor Winsor and Newton paints. I will be using a Princeton 3-round heritage brush. I'll put all this stuff in the description. It will be in my Amazon account. If you want to purchase any of these items, I get a small commission, but you will be paying the same price as if you went on your own. So I'm going to be very careful to make sure that I am recording and not, pausing. So what we're going to do is we're going to be doing wet on wet, and hopefully I can do this without messing up the second time. So I have it sketched out, and I'm going to wet my brush. I'm also using a hair dryer and a rag. So I wet my brush and I'm going to go in here, and it still has paint from yesterday, so we'll use this side of the bucket, but that's okay. It's not going to bother it. So we're just going to wet this side. So we're doing wet on wet. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to mix up some some yellow ochre in my pan, as you can see, if you want to see. I'm going to mix that up with a little bit of cad yellow. And I'm just going to rinse it down so it's kind of like light and not too heavy. Now you don't have to use these colors, you don't have to use these paints, you can use whatever you like. Okay, so we're going to get that in there. And hopefully I can see this. I did the video yesterday and, I wasn't really having a very good day. I'm sorry. But I didn't look at the video before I put it up until today. And I was horrified when I saw it. Okay, so we're going to go down here. We're going to put the paints, this color paint in over here. And the first thing I did was I put down the water, so it's wet on wet. And we're going to go, and you know what, this can come out different each time, depending upon what colors you use. And we'll go in here. So actually, practice makes perfect. It's not a bad idea to do things over and over again. So I'm just going to do the tip of this side right here, and I'm going to put some paint in like that, just the top. And I'm going to go in here, put some water just on one side, top side of this, and we'll drop that paint in. Okay, so we're going to go in here now. Got too much water. And we'll drop a little paint in there. Maybe over here. Okay, so now we're going to go in here, and I'm going to get my cadmium red. And just drop that in. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do this on dry paper and just go around the edge like that. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to do this area with the cad red. Just like that. And this we're just going to pull down a little bit like that and leave it, let it dry. And then I'm going to, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to go in here. I want this to be a little bit lighter, so I'm just going to spread that like that. There we go, and we'll let that dry. Then we're going to go down here, this area right here, and we're going to get our cad red. And it's okay if it bleeds into the next one. We'll leave that. Okay, so now this should be dry. We're going to go in here. And put some water. Okay, you know what? I didn't want that. There. You should have a tissue also. So we're going to go in here, get our cad red, let that go in there like that. Okay, and then we're going to go in here, up here. I'm going to add some water. And we'll put some cad red in here. Like that. And then the same thing in here. Add a little cad red. In there, like that. Now, I'm getting close to all the other areas, so I really do need to dry this. But this time I'm going to make sure that when I turn the camera off, or that when I'm done drying, that I make sure that I turn it back on so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, we have the camera back on, and now we're going to go, I gotta move this 1 second. Okay, so now we're going to go in here with the cad red. And let that dry. Put some cad red in here. Wet this down. So I'm doing wet on wet. like that. And I really should dry that. Okay, you know what? We'll go down here. Let's go down to this one. Let's get this bottom leaf. And we're gonna wet in here a little bit too. See, that's from my dirty water, but that's okay because that's the color I want to put in there. So we're just gonna drop some paint in here. Let's put a little bit more, make it a little bit darker. And it's good to do things over and over again because that's how you get a little bit better. I'll put a little bit more in here. And I am recording, so that's good. We'll go in here. Let's add a little darkness in here. Okay, so now we're going to go and wet this area. And we put some of that cad red in there. And it's really nice the way that the paint moves in the area where you just put the water. Really pretty. And then in here, we will wet it. And I'm going to add a little bit of that mixture. And we will be going over this. And then it's time to dry it to make sure that and I will make sure that my camera's on at the right time. So let's go to this section right here, and that's going to be with the cad red, but first we're going to put some water here. And we're going to get some paint. And disperse that on that petal. And then in here, I'm going to put some cad red. And I'm going to I'm going to dry it. Okay, so over here, we're going to wet and we're going to get a little bit darker. I'm going to mix a little bit of black with the cad red. And we're going to do that down here also. We're going to wet this area right here. And we're going to mix a little bit of black. We're going to get a little darker. And we're going to do the same thing in here, just this area right in here. And we're going to add that like that right there. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of water in here. And we're going to add our mixture of yellow ochre and cad yellow. Put that in there. Maybe add a little bit more around the tip there. A little bit more around here. And we'll go in here with this. Okay, and then we're going to wet in here. Mix a little of that cad yellow. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go around the point of this leaf. And we're just going to drop in some water. And we're just going to pull it down a little bit. There. And then in here, just going to lightly go in there like that. And we're going to go in here. I didn't put any water on. So now I'm just going in these spots where it's a little, I'm just going to go over some of these areas like this. And I'm going to go in here with a dry paper. I'm just going to drop that paint in. And start brushing in a little bit of the pink on top of my yellow ochre. Okay, and now what we want to do is we want to start outlining. Bring that down. Come around. Like that. We're going to go over this. And we're going to go over this leaf or petal. And then I'm going to come up here. Just draw a line. Come around. And I am going to add a little bit more paint to my palette. And I want to darken this. And then I'm going to wet my brush, and then what I'm going to do is just move this paint, blend it so it blends in. Like that. I want this to be a little bit darker. Okay, so we want to fix this. You see I went over a little bit. Like that. I want this to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to go over it again. And now we're going to start going in here. And around. And we want to make this a little bit pinker. So we're going to bring that around, soften that up a little bit. Like that. I'm going to let that dry because we're going to go back in there. And let's outline the top. Pull it down. Like that. And let's go in here, go into the top, this. And we're just outlining. We'll just add a little more of that paint in there. And then we'll just do a little random scrubbing in here. And then outline this like that. Okay. And I want to get this a little bit darker. And then this area right here also to be a little darker. Okay, so we're going to have to add some more paint. And I want this to come out darker. Right in here. So the trick is to just really continue playing with it. And we're going to make this leaf come out darker. So I'm using like a dry brush here. And I'm going to go around like this. And it's time to go back up here. And darken that. Okay, and we're gonna play with this in here. Like that. And I'm going to add a little bit there. Go around like that. Add a little bit more. And then I'm going to put a little bit more in here. I'm just going to dab it. And we're going to get some dark paint right here. And we're going to go this way. I'm just using a wet brush right now. And I'm scrubbing this area with my wet water. And doing the same thing in here. Just scrubbing it all around. And it definitely needs to dry. All right, I gotta hit this with the dryer. Okay, so I put water in here because I don't like this the way this area came out. So I'm gonna just drop some paint in here like that. And let that dry. And then I'm gonna mix a little alizarin with my cod red. And just go in here. I want to go like that. When it dries, it dries much lighter. So we're going to add a little black in here. And we're going to put a little black up here. It's not really black, it's just a little tiny, tiny smidgen of black. I'm going to go in here. So I'm going to add a little bit more black here. And let's drop it in like that. And go in here. Okay, we're coming close to the point where we can start doing our leaves. But I just want to get this outlined. So I'm just using water to scrub the paint around so it's not so stark. And blending it. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go with water down the stalk of the rose. And we're going to go, and we're going to take our red mixture, and we're just going to go down the stalk like that. And we'll do this one after. Okay, so after that, we need to make a mixture of our greens. So I have, and I have a mixture here, but I'm going to add olive green to this. And I'm going to go in here and do the leaves that come out from the bottom of the rose. And we will most likely have to go over that again, because when it dries, it gets lighter. So we can always go back. Okay. So now what I'm going to do next are the leaves. So each leaf is going to get water on it. Let me make sure I'm recording. Yep. So each leaf will have water. There's a little dot right there. So I'm outlining the leaf with the water so I can drop my paints in. There's a little bit of pink in there, and that's okay. That's for you to see. It doesn't matter. Okay, so now I'm going to use cerulean blue. And I'm just going to drop that in all along the edge of the leaf. There we go. And then we're going to drop some of our yellow ochre and cad yellow mixture. And then I'm going to take some Hooker's green and throw that in there. Not throw, but drop that in. Okay, that's one leaf. Now we're going to do the same thing with the rest of them. Just put some water. And we're going to do our cerulean blue. And the same thing with our yellow. And then we'll get our green. And we'll let that dry. Okay, so let's wet down this leaf. And drop in our blue. It's really nice because the paint will go wherever you drop your water. And we'll just drop in some of that yellow ochre and our green. And let that go. Okay, so this is going to be a little different. The top of this is going to have some of that really pretty cut red, and then the bottom is going to be the green. And we're going to let that go. Then we're going to wet down the next, excuse me, sorry, I had to sneeze. Okay, so we're going to continually spread some water here and do the same thing. Drop in our blue. Let that move around. And drop in some green. Might have a little bit too much water in this one. That's okay. And I'll just go right on top of it all. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to put some of these thorns in. Okay, and I'm going to mix some olive green in with my greens, put a little water, and I'm going to go over this stem here. With the green. And I'm going to go over here. Okay, so let's do these leaves. So this leaf is underneath this stem. some green in there. And then a little ochre. And we will do this leaf. Okay. Drop a little green in there. And now we're going to do this leaf, which is much bigger. Okay, now we're doing the last leaf. Just want to get that because I don't want the paint to go outside the leaf. So I had to clean that up. Okay, here we go. And you can see some of the water because I'm using a lot of dirty water, which is fine because it's not going to matter. Okay, here we go. Dropping that in. Okay, now we didn't forget, we still have to do this stem and turn this. And then we will go in. I'm going to dry this. And now I have to go in with the green. Okay, I picked up a little darker green, which I actually like. think what I'm going to do is go over. I'm going to use a little, what do I have here? Hooker's green. And I got to be careful. So I'm just going to go over these leaves. Okay, and I want to go over some of these leaves too. Okay, that I didn't want. Let's put a little bit more water in here. Okay. Yeah, what happens is it dries much lighter depending upon what your tone is when you're putting it on. Just want to help that pop a little more. Okay, let's and we'll wet that and just blend it. And then I like to do the same up here. And we'll grab some green. And some more yellow. And we'll go over this again. Okay, let's go back and just go over these thorns. gonna... And I think I'm going to call it done. So, this is the rose. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you would like, hit the like button. That really helps me so that YouTube knows to send it back out to other people. And I'm probably going to delete the other rose because I totally messed up on that one. Yesterday was not a good day. You know, we all have those days. And I was not functioning too well. So here's the rose. I would greatly appreciate it if you would hit the like button, send me a comment, and I'm truly grateful to everyone that has been following me. Francis, here is the rose. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Big hugs to all of you, and thank you for following me. Okay, bye-bye.